So welcome to my YouTube channel. That's what we call the good life. Now today we're really lucky. We're at our friend's Smallholding in Wales. So I'm going to be taking you around a tour of the Smallholding and also around the community interest project that they're also doing on site as well. Now the name of their Smallholding is Hafety Ganel. It's a really beautiful place which we've been coming to since Sid was about 8, I think, and he's now 15, so it's absolutely fantastic. So if you scroll back through the videos, you will see how the project has evolved over the years. Now, if you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment, and from time to time my home kitchen. And like today, we have the odd special treat of coming to Will and Bridget's Smallholding. So we've now just moved over to the community interest project side. The site is called, and I probably pronounce this really badly, Dolid Gubath, Meadow of Hope. It's basically here for the communities coming together to restore and protect biodiversity, to reconnect with our natural world whilst building resilience to climate shock. It's a very beautiful place. Every time we come here, they've done more work here. It's made up of various acres. I mean, there's sheep here on some of the land. They're monitoring all the different insects and bird life and all that sort of thing. So that's really exciting and a really amazing place. You can actually volunteer here for volunteer days, and we did exactly that a few days ago. We actually planted some trees ourselves, which was really exciting. Some of the other things that they're doing here is things like putting down natural hedging, and people can attend those days. There's all sorts of different workshops and things that they're planning here and indeed doing here, and we will put a link in the description. So if you do want to get involved, a lot of the days are free. I think some of the odd ones you do have to pay for, but the one we did was completely free, and we got lovely coffee and cake afterwards. And it's so nice to actually put some positivity back into the into the countryside when you know you're actually making a really big difference. You know, we all watch programs on the TV, like I'm sure you do as well, and it's really nice to actually get your hands dirty and actually make a difference yourself, and they really appreciate anyone that can help. Now let's move over and look at some of the things that they've been doing here. So they've got various benches here, so obviously when the public come, there's somewhere for them to sit. And they've obviously at some point been making some lovely hand-raised fencing there, which is absolutely gorgeous. I could quite happily have some of that myself. As we move over, you can see that there's again lots of trees and bushes that have been planted. They've got a tractor there, which although it looks a little bit rusty, it does actually work, and they do use it. It's got a hitch on the back for various jobs across this area. And they've got a lovely big selection of fruit and nut trees that they've got coming along really nicely there. And as you can see, there's some beehives there up in the top paddock there. You know, it does take up various acres in this area. It is very beautiful, and it's nice to see something really positive happening. Like I say, we'll put a link in the description. You know, if you join the Facebook page, all the days that you can come and visit are on there, and you can also just see what they're up to generally with this project. Now let's head over back to the Smallholding and see what they've got going on in their home garden and their geese and chickens and all the other exciting things they've got going on. So let's head over now. So we're now back on the other side of the road, and this is actually their Smallholding. You've got the main cottage there to your right, and then the little annex on the side. The annex on the side is where we've been staying for the last few days, and that's where members of the public, if they want to stay as well, you can stay there as well. So they will be taking bookings from about the middle of the year, I think from about May onwards, and we've known them for years. That's why we're here a little bit earlier. We'll put a link in the description with their phone number and their email address if you do want to stay and come along, then obviously you can do so. So like I say, it's a really lovely place here, and we're now going to take a wander around their little Smallholding. Now you've got to bear with, it's February, so there's not quite as much here as there would be in the summer. As you can tell, there's a decent wood pile over there, which any Smallholding needs. Lots of wood, and not a lot gets wasted here, so there's lots of bits lying around because everything gets reused and repurposed here, because that's what Smallholding life is all about. As we move up, and they've got some fruit trees here if I'm honest, I don't know exactly what all the fruit trees are, but as you generally walk through, there are fruit trees everywhere. We've got some lovely cordon trees there just by that little that lovely big summer house there. I know he keeps a lot of his equipment because he makes candles. They've got their own bees, so they've got honey, and he makes apple juice, cider, gins, all the things that are synonymous with a small holding. As we wander up the hill, they've got some geese, which I'm going to let out, so they're probably going to be a little bit excited, a little bit noisy, and that's all part of small holding there. Like I say, more trees as we come up. They're getting a bit noisier, because I think they sense that someone's going to be letting them out very soon. So let's get up there and let the geese out. So, I've never kept geese myself, but it is something I would like to do when I get my own small holding. And let these geese out. Hopefully they won't rush too much. It's a little bit slippery. So, as you can tell, they're a little bit excited to be let out. Right, let's let the geese out now. As you can tell, they're a little bit excited. There we go. Come on in. They're a little bit nervous because they don't know us as well. And they're coming. Out. Now let's let the chickens out. Now unfortunately they've not got so many because unfortunately Mr. Fox got some of them, which is a shame, but it happens. We've lost ours recently to foxes. So let's, and they are up there, they're just a little bit shy. There we go, they're coming down. There we go, we've got a few coming out. No, I really miss having my chickens. They are a really lovely addition to a small holding, and they are, I mean, geese are okay to keep, but chickens are an absolute delight. There we go, first thing they're going to do is come and get some food. So we've got some layers pellets there, so let's leave the chickens to finish feeding. So we've just moved over to this area where Will keeps lots of bees. Like I said, he obviously gets honey from them, he makes candles. I believe he's even put a bit of honey in gin before, which is quite lovely. So yes, he's got various hives here. Obviously it's February, so they're all a little bit sleepy at the moment, so we're not going to see any bees today, so no bee action, but they're all in there doing what they do. Now let's head over to the garden section and we can see what's happening over there as well. So we're going to shortly head into the area where they grow most of their vegetables. Obviously it's fenced off to stop the chickens and the geese getting there. What I will say is Will hasn't got any heated greenhouses. So, you know, he's in Wales, it's really quite cold here, and a lot of people think, oh, you can't grow anything in places like this. Well, I can assure you he grows a very diverse amount of things. He does have to, because I've asked him, he does have to think about the weather conditions an awful lot. But like I say, he hasn't got a heated greenhouse. He does have greenhouses, and he does have heat mats for when he starts things off, but everything else is either grown outside or just grown in the greenhouse without any heat. He has at the moment got some bits on his windowsill in his garden room. He's actually overwintered some aubergines, which I'm completely in awe of, and he's got some leeks started off as well. He's also got a lamp in his kitchen, which just produces light. It doesn't produce heat, to help things on a little bit. So he does have a few things to help it on, but that's all he does have. Everything else just has to fend for itself like it does everywhere else. Now, what I would say is if you've not subscribed to my channel, it would do me a massive favour if you did, because statistically an awful lot of people that watch my video don't subscribe, and if you just subscribe and give me a like and a comment, it makes such a massive difference to me being able to share this with more people, because the more people that see this and the more people that can benefit, and the more people that YouTube will show it to as well. So it spreads the good word of helping people grow their own fruit and vegetables. Now let's head into the garden. So like I say, there isn't an awful lot happening at the moment, but there are still some things going on in here. Now Will does do an awful lot in these great big barrels, because he does actually show an awful lot of vegetables. So which again shows how much he can truly grow here. You know, he got in every single category at his village fete, except one. It was just one thing, and that was just some spring onions that he hadn't grown. But other than that, they can grow a huge diverse amount of crops here. So if we head into this greenhouse, now an awful lot of the stuff's finished off in here, but he has started off his shallots, his garlic and also his onions. So he's got a few things started off there, which again is quite a good idea to do something like this here, because it is a little bit colder. So start things off in pots like this and then put them out a little bit later really helps them on quite a bit. So as we head over, he has got another greenhouse, which we will wander over to now. So, obviously a lot of the things have finished off, but I'm still very interested on how big things have grown, even though they're finished now. So these were his tomatoes. So as you can see, your tomatoes grown right up to the ceiling. So even though this is the tail end of it now, it just shows what he's been able to do here. And the other thing he's been able to grow is Cape gooseberries. I've not even been able to do that in Kent. So he's had Cape gooseberries here, absolutely massive, trippy plants, which I think is completely amazing. I haven't asked for his top tips about those Cape gooseberries, but I will be when I get back in the house to see how he's grown those, because they're one of my favourite things to eat. So let's head off outside. I'm going to head round the rest of the garden. Like I say, a lot of it's obviously finished off. Like the raspberries here, he's obviously got a very large selection of raspberries that need to be pruned, but like most of us, we all do it lastminute.com. As we head down, it looks like he's got some parsnips down the bottom here. So they're still digging parsnips. So I heard from Will that he's still got lots of potatoes stored from last year, and they're still getting through an awful lot of things that they grew. And they grew lots of beans, I believe. So it looks like we've either got some swede or some celeriac there. I'm not entirely sure which. I haven't asked him yet, and I'm not quite sure myself. I've got a massive selection of strawberries here. Again, someone said to me, like, in Wales you can't grow strawberries outside. Clearly you can. And as we look over here, he's still got a few cabbage plants. Again, it's the tail end now, because like most of us, we're finishing off what we've got. He's got a few cabbages there, and he's got a very decent amount of leeks there. And it's nice to see his leeks are roughly the same as mine, because I beat myself up about the fact that my leeks don't grow that big. Nowhere near the ones that you buy commercially. But you know, as long as you've got plenty of them, you'll still be eating them for months. I've still got, I think, about 2 or 3 rows left on my allotment. And one thing I was really surprised about, right up at the very end, is rhubarb. It's just as far on as my rhubarb, which I'm really stunned about actually. In fact, I'm starting to wonder whether his is a little bit further ahead. So obviously he's still got a little bit of tail here. You can see his tail. Yeah, so look, his rhubarb, you know, this is February. I mean, he may have very well had one of these over it, trying to force it a little bit, but that's almost ready to pick. You know, a few more weeks, provided, I mean, he's going to be more susceptible to frosts and things here, so if they do suddenly get a lot of snow or a hard frost, you could possibly lose them, or not lose them, but they'll knock them back, and you'll have to wait for them to recover a little bit. But still, I'm very impressed. I don't know what anyone else thinks. Now, I hope you've enjoyed wandering around the small holding. Like I say, we will put some links in the description if you'd like to go on their Facebook page, if you'd like to come and visit. And obviously, if you've not subscribed to my channel, it'd be really awesome if you could do. And let me know what you like best of the tour around this lovely small holding in Wales.